honestly though, Doug, if you do use some of that money and you donate it to a charity, when you make the donation, make sure you're in that picture or video and post it to your account, so that way they get a nice look at it, because you can't deny that.
And Doug, let me kind of give you some, and again, this is just friendly advice. You do the research, you check on it. But if you're going to try to raise money on the app for any kind of, I don't care what it is, animal shelter, women's shelter, whatever the case may be, make sure you check every local and federal law, check everything, get the 501c or whatever it is you have to have, and make sure that you can account for every single penny. So if you come on the app and you say, I'm going to donate 50%, and then you change it, like a while ago you said 50, and then somebody said, well, maybe 10, that'll get screen recorded, and they won't play the part where you said 10, they'll play the part where you said 10, and that's what they'll hold you accountable for.
Thanks, Ford Gal.
We'll come to terms agreement when it comes to that to really make it happen, but we need to make it happen.
He's just now thinking of all this and throwing out ideas, and it's just 10% is a more reasonable, like Doc Compton. I follow him.
Yeah, we'll start out with 10%. We'll start out with 10%. I think that's pretty reasonable.
He donates 10%. He
Yep.
donates 10% to the scamming causes, where people get scammed, and then and there's this organization that goes in and helps them regain their money from being scammed. He donates 10% of everything he makes on TikTok, and I think 10% is reasonable. I mean, it's.
Are we all? Everybody agree with that? Is 10% reasonable? What do you think, Jeffrey? You think 10% is too much?
I'm going to be honest with you, Doug, and again, I'm just giving you my honest opinion.
5%.
If I was you, I would stay so far away from that idea that you couldn't even smell it if the wind blew.
And why is that?
Because I think you're fixing to open up a can of worms.
Yeah.
That you just do not want to hassle and deal with.
Because you're saying that these people are going to say that I didn't give it to charity, is what you're saying.
I feel like it's giving them what they want.
Not only that, they will look at every little loophole, every little any little thing, and if there's any way to trap you up on anything, I can promise you they will do it.
So what if I
want to do that privately?
What if I could set something up on TikTok, say, is there a way that the gifts, okay, instead of going to my account, can be deciphered, okay, divided, go to that charity, and this is my cut, this is charity's cut, this is my cut?
I don't know of any way you could do that. My suggestion to you would be to just continue doing what you're doing and run your battles. And if you make $1,000 this week and you want to give 100 to a homeless shelter, just go give that money to them.
Do it privately,
and keep it under your hat. And then that way you don't have the grief and the hassle.
I hear you, Jeffrey. You're probably right.
Something I didn't think about is if you say I'm gonna give 10% of what I make, they're gonna fuss about what you make. They're gonna be able to say, oh, okay, if he donated 10%, then he makes this much money every week. So yeah, if you want to do it privately, and don't care about what they see or don't see. That's true. You don't.
Well, if you do it privately, then you don't have to worry about.
No, we're not going to do it privately. We're going to make it known.
Well, I mean, you can make it known, but what I'm saying is, like, if you use the principle of, coming on the app and saying, "Hey, we're doing it for this reason," then that is something that they will definitely.
I hear you, Jeff. I hear you, bud.
Now
I know what you're saying. They're gonna try to piece apart that the money didn't go here. Where'd the money go for? And they want to try to use that against me. But I think the right thing to do is to highlight it just to cover my tail. Is really what it got to go for.
Just make sure speak with someone that's a lot smarter than I am on the legal stuff.
Me too. Exactly.
And just make sure that you are 100% covered, because as you see, they look for any little thing they can find. Like
And then they'll turn you over to the IRS and say,
exactly.
uh-huh.
Yeah. I mean, just like, for example, you went the other day and got a piece of dead wood out of the forest, and the next thing you know, the park ranger's there because you took dead wood. What I mean, it's just stuff like that. So you can imagine what it would be with financial and money issues.
See, Jeffrey, what you guys are saying is doing the right thing when nobody's looking. I got no problem doing that, man. But the way this channel is growing so fast, there's got to be a trail to prove it.
Yeah, Spence said keep receipts. Yes, Spence, you're right. Just keep your receipts of what you donate. And you don't have to say, I donated 5% of my earnings, because then they're going to know what you make, and it's none of their business.
I have
Just
got to leave a trail. If I don't leave a trail, then it's used against me.
Well, I mean, like I said, man, just do your research. Be careful. Make sure what you're doing is 100% legal. Because here's what I mean by that. I'm not saying you won't do the right thing. What I'm saying is there may be some little clause that says, hey, they gave you a $10 gift on TikTok, but you didn't get but 7 of that. So you donate 10% of that 7, but there may be a loophole somewhere that says you were supposed to donate 10% of the 10.
You're absolutely right. That's where I'm gonna have to have somebody that got some little bit more head on the scale.
Because when the donor donated, they donated $10. So I'm not sure that TikTok's cut. I'm not sure that you wouldn't still be responsible for that.
Doug, I'm friends with somebody who works for the IRS, so I can ask that individual some questions about charitable donations for you.
Usually when they donate, though, it's just a tax write-off a lot of times, so ain't it?
Yeah, a lot of times, but it depends, because there's certain...
And like I said, I mean, you do you. Good luck with your channel. I hope one day to turn it on and you got 100,000 people in the room. I don't want nothing bad for nobody on this app. But like I said, I have seen and watched. I got drugged through the mud for simply watching somebody. Didn't give a dime, didn't donate, didn't do nothing. Got drugged through the mud for simply being there watching. So, when I speak about these people, yeah, I do have hostility and I do have anger and stuff like that towards them because of the things I see them do. Because at the end of the day, even if you was a beggar, to me, it doesn't warrant the things they're fixing to put you through.
And you just don't have to.
What are you saying? I'm just supposed to stand down and let them do what they do? I mean, that's what I'm gathering from everybody.
No.
I would let it roll off my back. That's what I would do.
I don't.
1099, Jarrett. I paid 1099 before. I know what a 1099 is. That's why.
Yeah, I mean, and like calls to the IRS, I mean, calls to the courthouse, calls to, man, it's unreal the stuff they actually do. And to be honest, I don't see where they find the time to do all this stuff, but they do.
You're right, Angie. The haters will take everything you do and run with it. They will.
And like I said, I mean, I can't tell you what to do. I mean, I'm not going to tell you to ignore it or whatever. All I can say is what I would do. And, it comes a time to where, I don't know how far it goes, I know what I've seen, and it gets pretty bad. To be honest, it's totally uncalled for, and it blows my mind how far it goes.
If their content is to sit and talk about how bring out everybody's shortcomings are, then you can't really do anything to stop that. That's their content. It's not against the law. It's a free world.
You know what? You show people that we love them is what you do, and that we care about them, and we stand united. Because if we can't do that, then what the fuck's the point of any of this? Because I get to build something, and these suckers get to use somebody else. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that at all. That's what you guys are not on board for. You guys are not prepared for that.
I'm going to drop down right quick. I got to take a call, but I'll still be in the chat.
All right. Bye, Chip.
I'll see y'all.
Julianne, they